what we have here is one of the political leaders being prosecuted and tried, and this is always very delicate from the perspective of democracy, of the free elections and so on. According to some precedents of the higher court and the Supreme Court, as well as the Constitutional Court of Slovenia, but also throughout Europe, it is impossible to even start the prosecutorial side of the proceeding unless you know when a certain criminal act occurred, who was the one who participated in it, who offered you something something as a reward for your action. Yet here in this particular case, neither the time was known, neither the location was known, neither there's any, at least according to my reading of the whole case, any evidence of who is the person who offered that reward, nor, and this is most importantly, I think, nor any shred of evidence, even slightest indication of how did this person, Mr. Janez Janša, accept this promise. You need to accept the promise, not just be offered a promise. There has to be a meeting of the minds, as it were. You need to agree. So we need to have a proof. We need to have a witness telling us that somebody agreed to that. We need to have a recording or something like that. Nothing of that is in there. And I personally wouldn't take this responsibility on my own shoulders to engage in a heavy constitutional interpretation in such a delicate, democratically delicate type of case. And I'm much older than the judge in this particular case. And so I think there was an obvious route for her to pursue. That would have been to send the case to the Constitutional Court. And yet she didn't do it. Unable to show your alibi for an undetermined moment in time. You're unable to defend yourself, basically. You have nothing to offer if the charge is so general. We have common European documents at the European level describing this common standard that requires and specifically states that whenever in such a conflict, and even much minor type of conflict, the public official, including prosecutor, should do anything within her or his power to recluse herself. There's the Bordeaux Declaration, the common declaration of the prosecutors, European prosecutors, as well as several documents of the Council of Europe and the Committee of Ministers that expressly states that you should do everything within your power to avoid such conflict. And yet this was obviously breached. Soon after the decision was reached at the first instance, there was this judge from the Court of Appeals who made a public statement and published something. She published something and congratulated the judge at the first instance for her courageous conviction, while at the same time comparing the people who came to the court and expressed their disagreement with the judgment to the people in North Korea who followed their North Korean leader, that personality cult thing. And so she was at the same time humiliating part of the Slovenian people, of the electorate, followers of Janez Janša in this case, and at the same time congratulating the lower court judge for her courageous conviction. And now this really becomes problematic when we realize that now this case is going to the same Court of Appeals that this particular judge comes from. So what we have here is an obvious abridgment of the Article 6 of the European Convention of Human Rights, the fair trial. You cannot have a fair trial unless the appearance of the judiciary is also impartial. And this was not in the case in this particular instance. This is something that interferes with the free forming of the political will from the bottom up, as it were, and interferes with it heavily. It skews the political process. This process is unequal, it is unfair, and democracy is being distorted for this reason.